This is Newsline 9 Sports.
As the Packers begin OTAs, their main focus is on the passing game, but not because they feel it needs a lot of work. That's just sort of the way it works out. Hey, April, you know, the collective theme from the Packers after this one was they just ran out of gas. After a magical 8-game run to get them to this spot, the green and gold just didn't have what it took to keep up with a red-hot Falcons team. Well, Aaron Rodgers could soon have even more leverage when he goes into contract talks with the Packers. ESPN is reporting today that the Raiders and their quarterback, Derek Carr, are on the verge of an agreement that would make Carr the highest-paid QB in the league. A couple days to digest it now. You guys had a heck of a run. Give this man a round of applause for a great season. It was fun to watch the 8 straight wins, and then it kind of comes crashing down in Atlanta. A couple days to digest it now. How are you feeling emotionally?
It stinks.
I got this thing in my hand, so you're smarter than I am.
Yes, well, I want you to go for it and see if you can get there.
I avoided the water, the bunkers, even the parking lot far off to the right, but I managed to find a few pine trees. Yeah, Mark, all eyes once again tonight will be on Aaron Rodgers after he really struggled 4 days ago here against the Dallas Cowboys, turning it over twice, missing some easy throws in big situations. Nothing just looks easy for Rodgers right now, which is in stark contrast from everything we grew to know over the early portion of his career.
Snap to Rodgers. Jackson stays in the block. Rodgers throws the middle.
Oh, my word.
And a beautiful spiral over the middle.
Aaron Rodgers used to make improbable throws look easy.
But Aaron Rodgers, that pinpoint accuracy, doing it again.
Now the easy looks borderline impossible.
And it is too high. Oh, my goodness. You got an open receiver, Cobb, in the end zone for a touchdown, and he airmails it.
I just think it's accuracy. I've missed a couple that I'm used to hitting.
Over the past 2 seasons, Rodgers' completion rate has dropped off 6% from his career average. With 3 rounds to go, some of the players who have finished for today are getting ready for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, as far as the Open coming back here, the USGA has all the sites picked out through 2026, so it'd be at least a decade if the Open did come back to Erin Hills. But from what we're hearing, it's a very strong possibility. Hey, April, you know, the collective theme from the Packers after this one was they just ran out of gas. After a magical 8-game run to get them to this spot, the green and gold just didn't have what it took to keep up with a red-hot Falcons team today. And yeah, you mentioned it, they fell behind early. The 31-0 deficit, the largest at any point during the Aaron Rodgers era. You had a feeling coming into this one, Green Bay was going to have to outscore the Falcons to get a win. Mike McCarthy said afterwards they felt they could score with anyone, but that wasn't the case today. Might have been different, though, if the first quarter had gone differently. A series of errors really put the Packers in their run-the-table hopes behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, we hurt ourselves early with missed field goal and then another good drive down there and fumbled inside the 10. Hurt the momentum of the game. Obviously not getting points, staying in the game. Their offense is hot right now. Matt's playing incredible. Playing a team like that, you gotta start faster than that. We had 0 points in the first half. You're not gonna win many games like that.
We couldn't overcome the pace that these guys were playing at. They played lights out, and it got away from us. And you have to overcome, you know, all those things when you compete in these big games.
Offense didn't perform like we're accustomed to seeing. On the flip side, the defense really could not get off the field. Atlanta had 20 first down conversions in the first half alone, 7 of those, April, coming on 3rd down. It's really tough to win if you can't give your offense a chance to get out there and can't keep the Falcons off the scoreboard.
It really is, Brandon. Another serious factor in this game was the amount of injuries, Brandon. Green Bay entered the game with 15 players on their injury report, with several, including Jordy Nelson, playing through those injuries. But on top of it, 6 more Packers left the game hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad today. The second half, it just seemed like one guy after another. TJ Lang went out. Jake Ryan went out. Got so bad on the offensive line that LaTroy Guion, who's a defensive lineman, had to finish the game on the offensive line because they ran out of healthy offensive linemen. Luckily for those guys, they've got the whole offseason now to recover. You mentioned Jordy Nelson. That was the big story coming into this one, is the fact that he did gut it out in play despite those 2 broken ribs. And if you don't think that means anything to this team, just listen to Aaron Rodgers here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of Jordy. I mean, it's incredible that he was out there. Yeah.
Teary-eyed Rodgers there afterwards. You could tell a lot of admiration for his close friend, Jordy Nelson, as he gutted it out and played pretty well. 6 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown, but not nearly enough. The Packers offense couldn't keep up with the Falcons offense that scored 44 points. That's 10 above their season average. They continue to be the highest scoring team in the league, and they are headed to the Super Bowl to face the New England Patriots next weekend. The Packers' magical, memorable season coming to an abrupt end here today at the Georgia Dome. Well, Aaron Rodgers could soon have even more leverage when he goes into contract talks with the Packers. ESPN is reporting today that the Raiders and their quarterback, Derek Carr, are on the verge of an agreement that would make Carr the highest-paid QB in the league. The deal is not done yet, but it would pay Carr $25 million per season. By comparison, Rodgers makes $22 million a year and currently ranks 6th in QB salary. 12 is under contract through 2019, but this will almost certainly drive his price up when the time comes to negotiate. Here's what he had to say about that during the OTA period.
When it comes to setting the market values, I let that stuff take care of itself. I know my value.
Scandinavia had to wait a long time to make its first appearance in the WIAA State Baseball Tournament, and today Mother Nature made them wait just a little bit longer. The T-Birds state semifinal against Laconia delayed by weather for about 2.5 hours. They finally get started around 6, but it was worth the wait. Great game. Third inning with it tied at 1. Seth Cord lines one right to the left side. Justin Severson scores easily, and watch his brother here, Jaden, tries to leap the catcher, but he's tagged out. Still, Ayala Scan up 2-1. Laconia scores one in the 4th, another in the 6th to take the lead. So, in the 7th, T-Birds down 1, 2 outs. Carter Kirky answers the bell. A game-saving, run-scoring single. And yes, the game's tied at 3. We head to extras. Teams trade runs in the 8th. In the 9th, tied at 4. A costly mistake here from Kirky. Off the bunt, throws it into right field, and Trevin Hanker scores all the way from first. A sac bunt turns into a run, and the Spartans have the lead once again. Ayala Scan, though, threatens again in the 9th. They've got the bases loaded for Nick Hansen down 5-4. They don't quite have another rally in them, though, not this time, as Hansen pops out to shallow right. And Ayala Scan loses a heartbreaker in its first ever trip to state.
You know, the guys never quit.
First place Brewers back in action tonight, back at home. They begin a short 2-game series with the last place Blue Jays. Toronto starting early, though. They scored 2 in the 2nd, then double that here in the 5th. A 2-run, 2-out home run from Kendrys Morales, way out of there. Hit it off Jimmy Nelson, who gave up 4 earned in 5 innings. Brewers, well, we know they're comfortable playing from behind. Just chip it away. Jonathan VR, bottom of the 5th, caps off a 3-run inning as that 2-run single finds its way through. Brewers back at it down 1. Same score, bottom 9. VR makes the last out with the tying run on first. Brewers lose their 2nd straight. They'll finish up that short series tomorrow afternoon. Players must then ask themselves the question, what's next? The answer doesn't always come right away. Finding life after football isn't easy, but George Kuntz wrote the book on it. Literally.
Is there life after football? Survive the NFL?
The former Packers linebacker and Super Bowl 31 champion is traded in his pads.
George Kuntz made a diving interception.
For books. Kuntz is one of only 2 former Packers to earn a PhD, and he's put it to use, helping craft a guide to help players survive the NFL.
A lot of players are sad because all they know is, competing, playing football, and at some point, that bubble's going to burst.
Kuntz now spends his days at Marian University in Fond du Lac, working as the Senior Vice President in the Office of University Relations.
Keep pictures around if there are some students. I like to pass these out.
But even for someone who has found so much success, Kuntz's transition to life after the NFL wasn't exactly smooth. Like many players, he struggled to find his place after a 10-year professional career.
I struggled big time with depression, and it was really, really tough. I had to go through counseling.
Depression that ultimately culminated in a serious car wreck in 2003. Kuntz says he took a curve at 75 miles an hour just to see what would happen. He walked away, but his life was changed forever.
How big of a wake-up call was that for you?
That was a huge wake-up call because after that incident, that's when I said that my football playing days is over with. That's behind me. Let's move forward. And that was the new George. This is my master's at East Carolina University.
What followed was an emphasis on education. He says being this involved in the U.S. Open, the very first time it's played in his home state, truly a dream come true.
Can't lie, I've been thinking about it every day for 2 years.
Jim Lombardo is a 1985 graduate of Wausau East. He grew up playing golf at the American Legion course in Wausau. And now he's an integral part of the world's biggest golf tournament.
Get all squared away.
All the decisions we've made up in the last 5, 6, 7 years have been all about this week. We've wanted to get this one right, and we've done a lot of planning. It's going great.
Lombardo's main responsibility this week is focused on the competitors themselves.
Player hospitality and getting the players' practice round scheduled from a couple of weeks ago when guys were dropping in to visit to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday practice rounds. We did all the scheduling for that.
From Jordan Spieth to Rory McIlroy to defending champion Dustin Johnson, he's been working closely with the game's greatest players.
They've all been awesome. I've talked to all of them. They've been all as good as they can be. It's been great.
And the end goal? To lure the USGA back again. Lombardo and his staff are dressed to impress this week, hoping this won't be the last time this tournament comes to Erin Hills.
We're trying to put on a good show, and we want another U.S. Open, so all the decisions we make are to try and get another one.